We're almost acting as if we were organized. Lucille, would you please tell us the objectives of this speech in manual?
I would be glad to. CAT's objectives for this speech, which is project number 2 in the basic manual, conflict communication manual, are to select an appropriate outline which allows listeners to easily follow and understand her speech, to make her message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message, and I see some supporting material already. Use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another, and to create a strong opening and conclusion. Time 5 to start.
Thank you very much. Well, it's a pleasure to welcome Noel Ken. Katrina Fury has trained service animals for 5 years, specializes in training cats. She's used a service cat for 4 years and spent the last 4 years advocating for access and educating businesses on the Americans with Disabilities Act. She also writes articles for persons with disabilities and their caregivers, explaining the law and how it affects them. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Katrina Fury.
What is a service animal? Does anyone have any idea? Have you ever met a service animal before tonight? As you can hear, my service animal is very vocal about what a service animal is. Let me translate for you. A service animal is freedom. I want you to imagine that you are in an accident. You have nothing wrong with you beforehand. You're perfectly healthy. You're driving down the street. Another car hits you. You wake up in the hospital and you don't have any feeling in your legs. Your legs are gone. You can't bend. You can't stretch. You can't get out of bed by yourself. You're trapped. A service animal can help change that. You struggle for months on end, having to ask everyone you know for help. It becomes a ritual. Every sentence starts with please and ends with thank you. Can you please help me pick up my purse I just dropped? You might have to ask complete strangers, and half the time you're afraid they'll either say no, stranding you within your own body, or they'll say yes and take advantage of you, expecting some sort of recompensation that you no longer have. A service animal changes that. When you first discover the joys of service animals, it isn't through your own. It's by seeing someone else's freedom. It's by seeing the freedom someone else can have by having a service animal. You're in Walmart. You need the budget-conscious items now. You need some of the access that they can offer. And you see another woman using crutches has dropped something. She looks around for a moment, and then instead of asking a complete stranger, can you please get that for me, thank you, she says, retreat. A dog comes up beside her, picks up her purse, and hands it to her. She continues her shopping. She didn't have to wait half an hour. She's absolutely free. You follow this woman. As fast as your little tree will go, you will chase this woman down because you want that freedom. You want to be able to bend, stretch, and move. And although you might not be able to, you can find a companion who will. The Americans with Disabilities Act has many definitions for service animals, but combined they give a guideline of what it takes to be a working service animal. Sprite is my service animal. She does not have to have an identification collar or harness. She can come just as she is, although she prefers to wear pink dresses. Almost always it's a pink dress. I've had to get in touch with my inner girl because of her love of pink. I don't do pink. She does. If she doesn't wear the pink dress, it's usually for temperature reasons. She won't let her body overheat and will self-manage. She can go under the table if I drop my pills, and she can retrieve every single pill safely with her paws. She doesn't use her mouth. She's been trained that put them out are bad. She can put them back in the bottle and bring me the bottle. She's very talented. She can help me transfer. Without her, I can't do this. With her, I can stand. It's freedom. When I go out without Sprite, I'm in terror. I don't know when my body is going to have a seizure. I don't know if I'm going to pass out. She can give me warning. This does make her a service animal according to the law. However, there's a caveat. If she's going to be a service animal, she can't just warn me. She has to have a trained task involved with the warning. Instinct is not a service animal. You have to train it. If I'm going to pass out, Sprite will first alert me with 3 very, very shrill meows. It doesn't matter how bad my hearing is that day, I can always hear those meows. Then she moves up into a position similar to this, although it's usually on the other shoulder, to balance me and keep me from falling out of my chair if I do pass out. If I am completely unconscious, she then unhooks her leash and goes for help. If we're at home, she calls 911, and then she calls my caregiver, and then she calls Paul. She has learned to dial the different numbers. We don't have memory capability, she just has the training. This alone makes her a service animal. However, I can use my entire 5 to 7 minutes telling you everything she does. She has more training than most service dogs. Her meowing can't happen in a movie theater, however. She can only meow in a theater if I'm in distress. She can't have her little tantrums on the floor when she gets nervous about being able to put a 6 minute. She has to be quiet and can't distract. This is also in the terms of the Americans with Disabilities Act. They lay out rules for behavior. She cannot growl, hiss. She can't stand and look at you like she wants to claw your eyes out. She must be calm, and she must present a professional manner. That's asking an awful lot of an animal. It's asking so much, in fact, that many animals who are trained to be service animals fail that part of the test. Part of the work of training is also being able to give a behavioral test to any animal. Sprite fails on part of this test. She does not handle loud sounds well. She will panic, and she will hide behind it. The reason she can still be considered a service animal is she doesn't attack what made the large sound. She doesn't stop working. She merely takes a moment to herself and becomes comfortable with the new sound. Or she lets me know that she can't handle it and moves. This is my respect for what she does. She's not my pet. She's my partner. Another bit of the ADA. A service animal is not considered a pet. She's not quite considered an animal anymore. She's between a person and, for some, an angel. She's unlocked paid for me. There are more portions to the ADA as well. There are many rules and regulations. She can come with me to the doctor's office, for example, if I'm in distress. She goes with me every single time. The nurses look forward to her visits, and when she's too sick to work, which happens for every service animal, they always ask where she is. There are also rules against me taking her to visit my mother when she's in the hospital. She has chronic pneumonia, and I can't take Sprite with me. I wouldn't anyway, but the law protects people so that if you don't think clearly, which happens to all of us, especially when you're in pain, you are protected from making a mistake that can harm someone you love. The regulations that create service animals give access to all. This access is denied often. I recently was on the news because I had to fight for my right to buy groceries, not because I have a service animal, but because I'm disabled. My knowledge of the law protected me. The police did not know how to handle my complaints. It took education, and now police are being trained so that next time I'm told I can't buy groceries because I'm a handicapped woman, I don't have to call the news. I can just call the police. And the ADA will protect me and my service animal. What is a service animal? Freedom, not just for me, but for you, my friends.
Yes, please.
Okay then?
There you go.
All right.
Constant
bring anyone else over today.
Well,
No
thank you,
promises.
Ralph, for passing these out. And